it's me first, Piney.
Look at the front where it says Ames real big.
Hi everyone, I'm out here in Manahawkin, New Jersey, and I got another rare one for you, one you don't see a whole lot of, an abandoned car dealership. This one is a Chrysler one. Everybody knows my opinions on Chrysler vehicles and how I feel about them, which is ironic because I just found a video that I filmed back in 2017 on one of my old Sony Handycams that I just uploaded. And I was saying how sexy Dodge Chargers looked. Back then, they looked great. And you know what? Some of their vehicles looked really good until Fiat took over. Then they just looked way worse than they ever did. But and the other thing is, sorry, I'm kind of going on a tangent. The other thing is, if they invested as much money and time into reliability and dependability like they do on visuals and appearance and how comfortable they ride, they would really have something there. But no, they don't, because it's Chrysler, and we all know Chrysler has been the armpit of the auto manufacturing world, kind of like Land Rover, for many years. If you want a good Chrysler, you got to go back to the 90s and even further back when they were actually worth a damn. But nowadays, they're a joke. Well, anyway, as for this dealership, fortunately for this, they relocated up the road to a newer building. So they are in business, the people that had this dealership. They're up the road in a newer building, and looks like they're doing well, and I hope they are. You know, I can pick on Chrysler and Fiat and Stellantis or whatever the hell company takes it over, because they have so many other companies buy them out. Everybody remembers the Mercedes deal. They said, we're going to build engines and cars that really make a name for us and give us a good reputation. It gave them a reputation that went down the toilet. Anyway, I wanted to check this out because you don't see this very often, and it's clearly been closed for a while. Somebody still does the landscaping here to cut the grass, even though I'm parked next to a whole pile of trees. So, let's hop out of the car, take a look, and see what we find, and see if we find any 2.7s in there that are blown, or even 3.7s with valves that dropped into the engines. And I had a Chrysler Sebring convertible, second gen, with the infamous 2.7 liter V6. Strong running engine, had a lot of horsepower and would move. But they like to blow up. If the water pumps didn't fail, they would sludge up because of the narrow oil passage, and they would starve themselves of oil. And when the water pumps would fail, since someone in their infinite wisdom decided to put it inside of the engine and have it driven by the timing chain, you had to take half the engine apart to do it. And if you went that far, you might as well do the timing chain while you're at it. And who the hell wants to do that? I'll put it this way. One of my co-workers back in Pittsburgh, he had a Chrysler 300, and he had to do a similar job I had to do on mine, doing an upper control arm replacement. The way they ran the bolts through it, you have to take the whole strut out and press the thing just to change it out, instead of like most cars where it's not that hard. And there's a reason why he and I and a bunch of other Chrysler owners, or former Chrysler owners, all have one saying that we like to say a lot. Chrysler. Use your imagination on the first word there. Anyway, that was our showroom here. I guess they would drive the vehicles through these doors here. That's why the one's wider than the other. Drive them in and out of the showroom. It's clearly been closed for some time. It couldn't have been too long, because that was the logo when Fiat took over. Dodge, Jeep, Ram. I still don't know why they made a subdivision for Ram when they were always Dodge Rams. I still call them Dodge Rams. I don't know, Chrysler's always seem to have an identity crisis and whatnot, and they can't ever figure it out. But look, there's one of their old plate frames sitting here. Manahawkinjeep.com. Look, a Dodge Dart. Remember that flop? That's why they only made them for a couple of years. You rarely see them on the road anymore. Rarely ever see them on the road. I wanted to look over here. We saw behind the desk, but I wanted to look at it from the front side. And people are probably on the road like, what the hell is this dude doing? I don't care. The desk. Cool. All right, let's continue. Dodge Darts. Dodge Farts. The little tiny engines that couldn't. Those little things couldn't get out of their own way. And you know, I have many, many years of experience working on cars. It's what I've been doing for a long, long time. And the thing is, you know, I hate certain cars to work on. I really do. Chrysler vehicles used to be somewhat easier to work on. Not saying they were easy, but they were somewhat easier than they are now. Now there's just so much stuff going on. They're a total nightmare half the time. Try doing a front bumper on a Dodge Ram Rebel. It's like 300 pieces in there. If you have to replace it, holy smokes. Bumper weighs like 100 pounds. I mean, that's how it should. The old cars, they had steel bumpers on that weighed a ton. But my goodness. There's so many things going on there. Even the headlights, just to do a headlight. Holy cow, you got to take half the front end apart. I don't know, can we see in here? Service lounge. Yeah. Not too bad. Is that a Charger I see in that picture? Yeah. It's back when they actually looked good. Then they redid the front end and I was not a fan. Customer parking. Here's their service center. Drop off, after hours drop off. I want to see inside of the garage. Express lube. Windows are filthy. We might not see in there very well. Oh, we do. Are those lights? Or are they just... There's a car in there. There's a couple of cars in there. Maybe it's not so abandoned after all. I don't know. Maybe they use it for storage? Oh yeah, there's a couple in there. I didn't expect that. Well. And see, that's the thing. I'm not trying to go in there either. Not here to cause any harm, not causing any problems. You just don't see this. That's why I'm just admiring it. It's like you don't see this kind of stuff too often. Looked like somebody tried breaking in through that door. I want to look through one more of these. Yeah, it looked like somebody tried breaking through that door. Don't need to be doing that. Wow. Yeah, I didn't know if those are lights or skylights. I guess they're skylights. Yeah, there's a few vehicles in there. So someone's using it for storage. Imagine though, this is where all the Chrysler vehicles would have been when they had them here. And now today, it just sits empty. Oh, well, at least we got to check it out. Yeah, I don't know what the heck's going on. Every time Fuzz and I came past here in the past and earlier today, there's never been anybody here. So, I don't know. Clearly somebody's using it. At least they got good vehicles in there. I saw a King Ranch F-150 in there, that Chevelle. Couldn't make out what the other ones were, but at least they're decent cars. Way better than that Chrysler crap. Well, anyway, I'm going to sign off. And like I said, I'm not here to try and cause any problems or harm like that. Respect the place, you know. I just admire it from the outside, you know, because you don't see that kind of stuff often. And, wow, there's a lot of traffic. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe to the channel. I'd love to have you here. And until we can meet again, everybody, take care and stay awesome. I'll see you in the next video if I ever get out of this parking lot. Maybe I'll get out of here before dark. Look at that. I think I get the chance to do so. All right. That's what I'm talking about. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Take care and stay awesome. Bye-bye.